Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck and this is Somerset Farm's episode 3. That's right, we are still working on planting the canola on this field, but we also have our good friend Fred working that roller and coming behind us to try to get all of this planted here in August. We're making some good progress. We're on the little dog leg of the field here. That again, I think adds some character to the field to have this little extra section to do. And we're going to actually run back and grab this little strip that I missed, but that's fine. And as you can see, planting is pulling up some of those stones because I believe we have a disc harrow on here as well as part of this setup. This is one of those multi-planters where you're prepping the field and also planting at the same time, which is why we're using the tractor that we are for this one. So you can see all of those stones, and that's the other reason we're bringing that roller behind, is that roller will actually go ahead and push those stones back into the dirt. So not only does it give us our bonus, but it also gives us a cleaner looking field and less damage to any other equipment that we run across the field at this point. And I guess all of these stones are already on here when we're planting, so maybe it's not digging them up with the disc harrow. Maybe it's just a matter of, just preparing the field as it is. Anyway, I'm going to get ready here to cut to a little bit of a time lapse as I get this part done, and then we will jump back here in a minute once we've made it a little bit farther. Hang in there through this slight musical interlude, and I will be back for some more farming action. See you in just a second. Or at least done all that he can do, and we hadn't even planted this part yet, so we're going to go ahead and get this tractor started up and move Fred out of the way, or I guess Fred's not here anymore. Move our worker out of the way down here so that we can be prepared to start rolling this section here in a minute. But we're going to go ahead and just shut this off again while we finish planting. Okay, and as you saw a second ago, I had to shut that gate as well. Turn that off and turn that back on. Didn't have to, just needed to because I wasn't sure if it was on or not. And it looks like I missed a tiny little strip right there in the middle of this section. That's okay, we'll go ahead and get this finished off with the planter here. Get that parked up, and then we'll jump back over to the roller. Now I could hire Fred just to do this little section, but now that we've rolled that section, not 100% sure that we know where the line is for planting. So I wanted to make sure I did it, and I'm pretty sure it's right down here where I can see the edge of that. So we'll lift that there. Turn around, come back in at the same spot. And then once we get going, we'll check our map and just see how close we were. And again, we don't have to get it perfect. My perfectionism sometimes wants me to, but it is a waste of time for the couple of percent of yields. Yeah, so look, there's no line of unplanted stuff there, so we're doing just fine. So it'll be fine. Even that gap between those two rows over there to the right shouldn't mess with our yield too terribly much. The bigger concern is getting all of this planted and rolled today before the rain comes, which is impending at 6 o'clock. I know it's 3:30, almost 4 o'clock now, so we should have just enough time to get this done, hopefully. We will see how it works out. This is a nice little planter. I would probably prefer one that was just a little bit bigger, but this is a small equipment we've been given, and these fields aren't terribly huge. Now, if we do end up getting that field where we left our cultivator, the one that we thought needed cultivated but now doesn't, so I'm guessing it was cultivated sometime today in August. And again, I have to go back and check the video and see. So that one is big, and that cultivation would take forever with that little cultivator. But I think we're going to take one of those other fields over there maybe that still needs cultivated, because I want to show some different work other than just doing the same thing and planting a cultivated field like this. I'd rather cultivate one, then lime it or whatever we want to do, and then plant it and then go from there. So I think this is a different approach. Well, not yet, but this will be a different approach because we haven't rolled anything yet on any of my series just due to the size of field. So having a slightly smaller field here in 15, we can use this smaller equipment we have. We can take advantage of getting that extra 5% that we don't always get, and for rolling and mulching or various other ways to change the field state and just see. I don't know that I've ever gotten a field quite to 100%. I usually get pretty close, but then there's always something that I'm missing, or I run out of time, or the weather gets in the way, the rain, or I just don't have enough daylight, or 1,000 other reasons. So again, we do the best that we can, and as long as we're getting in the 90s for our yield percentage, we're usually doing just fine. So I will take it, and that will get the farm going. And again, we can always strive for perfection on the following season. So it's okay to me to not get 100% every time, because it's just not realistic. There's too many factors, and a real farmer has to put food on the table. They have to make a profit, the best profit that they can, and sometimes it means losing a little bit of yield but saving time or money or whatever on another part of the field. So, and again, sometimes that's not fertilizing because the fertilizer is too expensive, or not spraying, or it could be 1,000 different things. But again, those are all things we kind of run into. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. And I was gonna pull it out of the field completely, but actually I'm going to just park it back here in the corner, as far back as we can kind of get without being ridiculous, because I don't want to open that gate again, because we need that gate closed for the roller. So we'll come back over here, fire this guy up. And actually, since we already had to, probably shouldn't be driving over all this like this, but that's okay. We'll back up to here. So since I had to replant this section, I was going to just start the roller down here to get these longer sections done.
and that will also allow us to open up the gate quicker. So we'll lower that and push those rocks down and get that yield bonus over here. And actually, rolling is nice. I enjoy it. It doesn't take very long because most of the rollers are wider. This is actually kind of a smaller roller, but again, we're working with smaller equipment apparently on this farm. Or at least for now we are, so it makes sense to me to not get a giant 24-meter roller and do this thing on like 4 passes. This is already double wide of what our planter is, so it already feels, when you just planted a bunch of 3-meter rows, doing a 6-meter roller feels good. So I don't really need to push it to the point where we're gonna, cheat's not the right word, but where we're going to make it a lot less work, because nobody who's got a 3-meter planter is going to have a 24-meter roller. It just doesn't make any sense. Given the size of the tractors that we have and the size of the fields, I'm guessing this is about if you were going to roll. Now, I know a couple of farmers, and none of them roll after they plant. In fact, the one that I know the most, direct drills. So he doesn't even cultivate necessarily. He does disc sometimes, but this season in particular, he's not going to disc. And I think that's a pretty common practice in the part of the Midwest I'm in, depending on the soil stability. So again, Farming Sim gives you all the options for all the things that you could do, but farmers don't always do all those things because they either don't need to, or because they don't have the right equipment, or because whatever. So again, it's all sort of a learning process as you're working your way through everything, and we get to see the different things. But it is nice to use a piece of equipment we haven't really gotten to use a whole lot yet, like this roller, or like rollers in general, just to kind of see what effect they might have. And it does, I mean, it makes the field look nice. Like, you get all those rocks off there, it gets that kind of sheen, and we know that it's been planted and it's been compacted and it has been smoothed out, and those rocks aren't going to be in the way for later. So all of that is good. And I think at this point we've overlapped where we were before. I probably don't need to roll all the way down there. Yeah, because it looks like I just need to start right up here. But I can't remember if that was where the overlap was or not, so I just went all the way down to the end. Because it only took another like 10 seconds at most. And it's not going to hurt anything to roll it in a different direction. And again, I'm using my compass on the lower left-hand corner, looking for basically 360 degrees. And I'm kind of bouncing 359.8 up to like 0.4, because essentially, at 360 it turns into 0. We're trying to find a straight line, or as straight as I can get in the ballpark of. Then in a second here, we'll check our map and we'll see how we think we did on the remainder of this field, for rolling the rest of it, and see if there's any spots we need to go touch up that Fred might have missed. I'm thinking that little triangle over in the corner probably got missed, because that's not something an AI would do for us. When you the AI workers need nice square fields, when they've got funny little lines like this, or if the fields are just not straight on the edge. Like this one's got this big curve that kind of goes out and is concave and comes back in up here. The worker would never be able to figure that out. So that's why I kind of square off the edges of a lot of things, so that I have the ability to hire a worker if I need to. And again, that's like if it starts raining and we need to go jump over and get rolling, or if we need to finish one other section of the field to do something else, or if we, you've been watching me plant for 45 minutes and it's time to watch something else, or, all the different reasons that it could be. But so I like to have that ability to hire Fred, or whatever we're going to name our worker, whenever I can. But I don't want to be stuck. So on this one, see, so this, you can see it's kind of a wedge, and it's definitely not 6 meters, but we'll just overlap a lot, and make sure we're covering on both sides. And then we'll turn just a little bit with the field to try to keep it centered. That should take care of that. And then let's take a look at our map. So we're all planted. We knew that. Let's get over to here. Needs rolled. So you can see we missed some lines down here back when I was doing it. Fred took over here, did a great job. So we need to catch the edge of this all the way across and then finish off that that triangle down there. So that's what we'll do. And yeah, if you look closely, you can kind of see that this edge of the field here doesn't quite have that same sheen that the rest of it does. So we'll just drop down here, and it probably isn't even worth rolling this tiny little section for the extra 2.5%, because yield-wise, this little section isn't going to yield a whole lot when we're doing that. And now that we're wider because we're not next to that stone wall, I'm actually just going to come and do this the other way. We're going to overlap this side and just do all this grass, but that way we'll get a full row, an extra 3 or 4 meters down on that end. And we want to get to 270, so we're right about there. I'm sure this is bad for your grass, but in the game doesn't really matter, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Yeah, and now we're here getting a pretty much a full 6 meter row, which is nice. Is this our sorghum field right here, 18? It is. I was going to come check something, but I think I actually am going to just roll this whole end off so I can turn around easier. Just roll all of that right there. And let's kind of square this part off. In the future, I probably won't plant quite all the way up to here. Maybe I will. This seems like a weird little corner of the field. But I like fields that are a little atypical. I mean, once you've played this game for enough hours, you get kind of bored of just the square, rectangle, normal looking fields that are just easy to do because there's no dimension to them. You're just basically driving in a big square all day, every day. And that's why I like to do these atypical fields. Got a little wedge on the end here, got that dog leg on the other side. It just makes it a little bit more interesting, and you have to work just a little bit harder to try to figure out how to get your coverage and do everything, and what strategy you want to do it into, and how to do it without driving over the crop too terribly much, and kind of getting everything set up. So that's what keeps me playing. And again, also where I live here in Nebraska and where I have a lot of family in Iowa, there's no square fields. Like, there's some that have big open areas that you could square off, but the edges of all the fields are these weird shapes, like on this Somerset field. Like, there's so many different atypical areas that you would have to figure out how to get the equipment in and out of and around. To be a real farmer, you would have to know how to do some of that stuff. So I think it's just more interesting to portray it that way, and also to just practice some of that stuff. Just feels a little bit more realistic. Not that we're going for 100% realism in this series, because we're not. But like, there's a hedge here, and then that's kind of got a triangle shape, and then this one's pretty straight, but like narrow, and has a bad entry point, in my opinion, to try to get to. So again, those are just interesting things that give the farm some character, and I guess that's what I'm trying to look for, is what's going to separate this from just another farming sim map where I'm making giant squares going up and down on the field, having to do all these 3-point turns and make sure I'm covering all the field and not missing sections. That just is more engaging, and hopefully it is for you guys too. Let me know in the comments below if you guys feel the same way, if you guys run into the same thing when you're playing, or if you don't care at all. Like maybe you just like, yeah, show me the giant square field. That doesn't matter to me. All right, so we're going to fold this up, check our map. Yep, we pretty much got everything. We're not going to worry about those last couple of little blue bits. And then here, field 18 is ours too. This is where our sorghum is. That is growing and needs plowing. And look at that yield. It's only 58%, and it's way too tall for us to do anything about. Like, we could maybe spray on one load of fertilizer, but I think we'll just take some sorghum and maybe get some chickens, because chickens are a good deal. And we could feed them with that sorghum, and then we could kind of start from there. But what I'm going to try to do is, I don't like the way that we enter that field, because as far as I can tell, the only way to enter is between those two red brick buildings down there, and I want an actual entrance to my field. So I'm going to see if I can, in the editor, just get rid of some of these shrubs, because I'm already walking through them like it doesn't matter. So real quick, we'll just come down here. Go to the construction. We're going to go to landscaping. And yeah, I mean, I would just love to take out this section here or this section, but probably down here would be the smarter way to go. And let's go down to painting. And let's just get some grass. Nope, I'm just making a mess. So that's not letting me actually clear any of that out. Let's go look at what I did. So I killed the long grass here. This grass that I painted on won't actually grow, I don't believe. And this is a section I would like to drive through. You can see it a lot better on this side where the sun is. So if I could have removed these bushes, I would. I'm just going to sort of, I guess, maybe act like I did in this section and try to just drive through here. And so imagine we put a gate in here. Unfortunately, I can't or remove these apparently with the editor. But in general, that would be where I'd want to pull through. So let's go ahead and just take the loop around, and we'll get our equipment parked up. And that will probably wrap it up for this episode. So if you guys did enjoy it, let me know. You can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe if you haven't and you want to see more great content like that. Ring that bell if you want notifications when a new episode drops. And please comment. Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you like about the farm, what you don't, what you think I'm doing well and what I'm not. I'm open to feedback, and it's more fun when I get to comment, or when you guys comment and I get to communicate and interact with you guys about these videos. So yeah, let me know what you're thinking, what you're liking, what you don't like, and we will go from there. So we're going to go ahead to our new shed over here, and we will just pull, yeah, let's go to this one. We will just pull in here and park this up in the back, like so. Oh, too close. Nope, not close enough. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that there. We'll do the same for this planter. Again, this is the slightly bigger tractor, so it can probably handle that slightly bigger weight. So where are we at? Well, we didn't need it, so I suppose we'll leave it off for now. And then let's Do the same thing with this one. We'll pull around the other tractor and park it up in the corner. And this one we will disconnect, hold forward, and turn that off. All right, well, I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.